You know, for the past couple of years, it feels like all we've talked about with AI is one thing: generation. Right? Creating text, creating images, creating code. But what if all of that was just the opening act? Well, today we're going to talk about the next massive shift, moving from an AI that just creates things to one that actually does things.
I mean, think about it. What if it could do more than just, draft an email for you or spit out a cool picture? What if you could give it a really complex goal, and it could actually understand it, and then go out and get it done in the digital world? That's the big, powerful idea we're going to get into.
Okay, so here's a really simple way to break this down. Generative AI, the kind we're all pretty familiar with now, it's like having a brilliant researcher. You give it a problem, and boom, it comes back with a perfect, detailed plan. But that's it. That's where it stops. Agentic AI, though, that's the brilliant project manager. It doesn't just hand you the plan, it actually rolls up its sleeves, grabs the tools, and gets the job done.
And this really gets to the heart of it. While today's AI is amazing, the big roadblock has always been that it can't really take action on its own, right? It can't handle a bunch of different steps without you holding its hand. Solving that problem, well, that's the next great frontier in tech.
And look, we're not just talking about some small incremental update here. You've got top industry leaders, like Swami Siva Subramanian over at AWS, saying that this is going to be one of the biggest transformations the tech industry has ever seen. It's literally the start of a whole new era.
All right, so let's get into the weeds a bit. What exactly is agentic AI? What's under the hood that lets it move past just generating stuff and into this world of reasoning, planning, and actually taking action? So at its core, agentic AI isn't just about making content. It's about an AI that can truly understand a goal, map out a whole strategy, and then, and this is the key part, actually use different tools, like calling APIs or running code, to execute that strategy step by step until the goal is met. You can really think of it as a simple three-step process. First, it has to reason. It's got to actually get what you're asking for, no matter how complex. Then, it deconstructs that big goal into a series of smaller, bite-sized tasks. And finally, it executes. It carries out that plan and, it adjusts on the fly if it hits a snag, until the job is done. Now, obviously, to get this kind of power, you need a totally new set of tools. So to make this real, let's take a look at what a huge player like AWS is doing to build the foundation for this new era so developers can actually start building these things.
Okay, so a huge piece of this is something they call Agent Core. The easiest way to think about it is like a secure playground for these AI agents to do their work. It's model agnostic, which is just a fancy way of saying developers aren't locked into just one AI model. They can pick the best one for the job. It handles all the really heavy, boring stuff, the computing power, the security, so developers can just focus on making the agent smart. And get this, it can run for up to 8 hours straight. That means an agent can tackle a really beefy task, like a deep data analysis, all by itself, maybe even overnight.
All right, next up is something called Kiro. And this thing is designed to completely change how we write software. It's built around this idea of spec-driven development. So instead of a coder starting with a blank screen and typing out every single line, they just give the AI the big picture requirements. From there, Kiro helps figure out the entire architecture. It's a huge shift from, just filling in a blank page to actually partnering with an AI to build a working product from the ground up.
And to kind of wrap all this up, they've also put out this new methodology called AI DLC. You can just think of it as a new game plan for entire companies, helping them totally rethink how they build software so they can actually use these powerful new agentic tools.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But does it actually work? What are the real-world results? Let's look at the actual impact these agents are having right now, both inside one of the biggest companies on the planet and across all sorts of different industries.
So, before Amazon even thought about releasing these tools to the public, they did what any smart company would do. They tested them out on themselves. And the results of these early tests, honestly, they were just mind-blowing.
Get this, just by using their own internal AI agents for stuff like routine software maintenance, the company saved over $250 million in capital spending. That's not some long-term projection. That's an immediate, massive return on investment.
But the money is just one part of the equation. Those exact same experiments saved the company an estimated 4,500 developer years of work. Just think about that. All those brilliant people now free to stop doing grunt work and start focusing on the next big thing.
And hey, this isn't just happening at Amazon. We're seeing this pattern pop up everywhere. Look at Apollo Tires. Manufacturing troubleshooting that used to take 7 hours. Now it takes 10 minutes. A startup called Dawn compressed development cycles that took months into just a few days. The message here is crystal clear. We're talking about a crazy step change in speed and efficiency.
So what's the bottom line here? The technology is real, and it is a game changer. But what does all this mean for you, for all of us who are going to be working with these things?
And you got to understand, this isn't some little niche trend. There are huge, enormous investments being poured into training people for this. I mean, just look at AWS. They've already trained almost 6 million people in cloud skills, and now they're aiming for another 2 million specifically in AI. And they're backing it up with billions in infrastructure. The industry is going all in on this. This is the future.
And really, this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. The speed of change is just off the charts now. Whatever you learned in college, that's just the starting block. It's not the whole race anymore. According to the people driving this change, the #1 skill you can have is just being curious. It's about committing to always be learning. That's the only way to stay ahead of the curve.
So as we wrap this up, it's pretty clear the question isn't if this is happening, it's here. The AI isn't just a tool you ask questions anymore, it's becoming a full-blown teammate. The age of agents is officially here, so the only real question is, are you ready to start building with them?